Alright fellas, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys stopping by once again. Gentlemen, sorry for the dookie audio in this video. Unfortunately, I forgot to plug in the microphone module to the camera, so this is the raw audio coming out of the camera itself. Doesn't sound great, there's lots of wind noise. It's just not great audio, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully you enjoy the video. Yeah, my bad. I've got a pretty exciting video here for you guys today. I'm going to be doing a quick review on the Cyelee Chameleon SR S8. This is a dot that Cyelee did give to the channel for review. They didn't pay me anything. This is not a bias review. They didn't pay for specific opinions or anything like that. I'm coming from a competitive shooting background and just kind of like a hobbyist background. I've been shooting for a little over 10 years at this point. And this is my buddy.
My bud?
Yeah, this is my bud right here.
Yeah.
He is coming from a law enforcement background. He uses, you know, red dots on a gun for, I mean, every single day to save his life, basically, in the case that he needs to. So that's where he's going to be kind of building his perspectives from, and I'm going to be kind of having more of a, I guess, a hobbyist perspective, really, is kind of what it breaks down to.
We're just going to compare two kind of different styles of optics, right?
Yeah.
Talk about that one.
This is I would probably closely relate this to an SRO, a Trijicon SRO. It is a competition-focused red dot, or, I mean, really, it's just a big windowed red dot, which tends to be more for competition. But right. I mean, a big window is just a benefit in regardless. It doesn't have to be competition. But the Chameleon, it's a kind of a rounded shape window, a little bit of a flat bottom. Mounts to any RMR footprint handgun. This is mounted onto my M&P 2.0 metal. This was a spec series. I've kind of changed a few things, but basically this is just a metal at this point. And then he's rocking the M&P 2.0 polymer.
Yep. The updated 2.0. This is going to have the newer trigger.
And the fish scales in the front.
Yeah, fish scales in the front. It's going to have the Acro P2 mounted on it. Other than that, it's pretty much just a bone stock M&P 2.0.
Yeah, and then if you guys are wondering, this looks a little different. It's because this is, I think it's forward control designs, I believe.
Forward control designs.
It's an optic guard, so it's not part of the Acro. That's an accessory. But yeah, you can use it to rack on stuff and things like that. A little extra protection. We're going to go ahead and talk about first impressions of the optic in general. Cost is something that factors into it for sure. This is not something I would consider like necessarily a duty rated optic. I wouldn't take this into war. If I had nothing else I would, but I wouldn't choose to take this into war if I had something like an Acro or, you know, a lead and steel PP3 or whatever it is. But this is a more budget focused optic. Doesn't mean it's cheap, just more budget focused. Right now on Amazon, these are going for 200 bucks. I have seen them go for less, and I think maybe right now they're going for more, maybe some tariff stuff involved. Because I thought they were a little bit less, like 180, 170 is kind of what I saw before. Right now they're $200. The price does kind of dictate what we think about the optic and how
it's a big factor.
It's a big. I mean, it's probably the biggest factor unless your department's paying for it. You know, like, this is your money.
You're talking about an optic and you're saying it's good based on its price range, right? It's going to compete with other optics in its price range.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that for my initial impressions of the optic is that it is of good enough quality for a hobbyist. So any kind of competitive shooting, any kind of range use, any optic that's comparable, like a lot of C&H optics or some other optics made overseas, it's about of that same quality. You know, the coatings are not the best, but they're just fine. The screws are not the best, they're just fine. It really is completely adequate. And again, if you just need a massive windowed red dot for competition and you don't want to break the bank, I'd say it's a good option. So real quick, we're just going to read off the specs and features on it. It's an 8 MOA red dot. They do come in green also. This is the red version. It's a RMR cut, 507C or 407C footprint. It's got 8 daylight settings and 2 night vision settings. It does have shake awake, or like a motion activated shake awake system on it. Up to 50,000 hours of battery life. It uses a CR1632. The 50,000 hours thing kind of seems like the standard these days, but that is, I think, at either the middle or one of the lower settings. At the highest settings, you're kind of seeing like Lead and Steel is very honest with what they rate theirs at, and they say about 30,000 hours at level 6. So I would say probably about 30,000. But honestly, unless you're literally using this every single day, you probably won't have to change it but once a year, change the battery.
Because again, it's got that shake awake, so
yeah, as long as it's in the safe or in your box, whatever, it's going to turn off. And then the adjustments are 1 MOA adjustments. That is a little big. A lot of people like 0.5 for a pistol, and if that I'm shooting within maybe 25 yards and in, that's like totally fine for me.
So I think one of the reasons it might be so big is because the dot already is 8 MOA.
Yeah, that's true.
So finding a micro tuning and adjustment on a dot that big is probably going to be difficult, and and it may not really help. It may just be pointless. But can I hold it?
Yeah. Can you hold? You can hold. Hey, you can hold whatever you want.
Hold it. I'll trade you. So we noticed that this optic, because it's so far forward with that little shelf right there, is actually not allowing it to sit and lock inside the Safariland 6000 series holsters, because the front of this is actually hitting that shelf in there that's used to guard the front of your optic from like debris or whatnot.
Do that angled with the gun in there.
So when we slide it in, you'll see that the first thing it's hitting
it is so dark right here
is that shelf, and you can see the ALS wants to activate. It starts. You can see it moving just slightly, but then it won't go far enough down for it to fully actuate and lock, and it'll start pulling that slide back before it gets all the way into lock. So that's one thing to keep in mind. This is going to be more for like a open top holster than anything else really. Some other impressions, some other takeaways.
Well, before we get into that, I don't run Safariland, I run Alien Gear holsters, and it's the same thing. So just so you guys know, the hood protrudes so far forward, and also I could not mount this, I mean I could, but I didn't want to mount this on my Echelon because the hood goes over the ejection port pretty substantially. So look up some photos and pictures and things like that of this optic on the gun you want to put it on to see if that's something that's going to cause an issue, because on some 2011s an SRO hangs over the top so much that it causes failures to extract over and over and over again.
And you're just dinging your glass.
And yeah, like it's just not great. So make sure you kind of do a little bit of research on how far it's going to hang over the top. I would say the hood probably protrudes a ½ inch from the front of the body, so if that helps at all. But on the Alien Gear, same thing. You can see it even easier than the Safariland. This is the locking system right here. Or actually, this is just a plastic guard. Locking system inside. The front of the hood hits it every time. And can't even get like close to closing.
So even though the optic's not so big that it doesn't allow it to clear the entrance, it's so far forward that it's just not allowing it to
lock in or close.
And that's probably going to be pretty common with a lot of this style of like level 3 holsters.
So that kind of, solidifies the fact that this is not a duty red dot.
It probably was never made intended to go in these types of holsters.
This is made for what I was using before, which is like an open top, real loose fitting competition style holster, not for duty. But anyway, your first impressions you're going to talk about?
Yeah, first impressions. I do like the dot size. We were talking earlier about how this dot really doesn't get all that bright. And I kind of believe that it could be just because the dot is so big. If they also went bright, it might kill their 50,000 hours of battery time, and it may make it like a battery eater. Something that I do like is the buttons. I don't really have a major opinion on whether or not a brightness button should be 2 on the same side or on opposing sides. One thing I will say is it's pretty easy to hit. I mean, mid-course of fire or between courses of fire, you just need to like tap it up a little bit. Super easy. You don't have to think about it.
They feel tactile enough to me.
I think it's smart to have the plus on the
left side.
On the left side, because most of us are going to be right-handed shooters. We can just take our offhand and go like that. I do like the dot size. It's nice. I'm not normally a huge fan of big dots, but
you mean the dot as far as like the actual reticle?
The actual reticle itself, the actual dot that's showing up. I do like the size of that. I also like the window size.
Yeah, it's big.
Window size is really cool. And then for shooting steel targets, it's fun because you're putting a circle steel target inside of a circle viewing port. So I like it.
Like a little bullseye.
Yeah. Really
yeah. It seems totally adequate. This is not an SRO. This is not an Acro. This is not, a Holosun 507 comp. Those are dots at a different level. Some can argue they're made in the same way, but they're at a different level in my book. This is a dot for hobbyists, for competition. If you want a budget optic, that's what it's for. I will say the actual clarity of the glass is great. It's very clear. There's really no color shift at all, no blue tint, things like that. However, there's a little bit of distortion. So I'll have to get some B-roll of it, a little bit later. But it does if you move the red dot as you're on target, side to side, up and down, it kind of warps the image a little bit. That being said, some people get aggravated with that, and they don't like that. I honestly don't care at all. There's only one red dot that was so bad that I was like, this is kind of annoying, and that was the 509T, the first one. It was the distortion was so bad that like it would take a straight line and curve it. It was bad. This is not that bad, and people say that distortion, like I think it's parallax, yeah.
So parallax is going to be like the dot moving. If the gun's in the same spot.
Yeah, but you move your head, the dot moves.
Your head,
yeah.
And then that distortion is more of like the glass itself is not completely smoothed out, not completely.
Which I've shot a ton of competition, and I guarantee I have shot not in a good position and been off kilter, and it's not affected my point of impact. So I really don't think distortion is that big of a deal. You can comment down below what you think, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Did you ever talk about how bright the dot is?
Yeah, we talked about the brightness, not the brightest, but one thing I commented on is one reason they may have done that is because the dot size. If they have a dot that's that big and it's bright, it may kill the battery, so they might have...
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they thought, hey, it's going to be larger anyways, it'll be easier to pick up. You don't need it to go as bright.
Yeah.
But on a washed out background with lots of light, like let's say if you're in a dark room and you're looking out into an area that's brighter, that's probably going to affect you just a little bit.
It is not that bright. It is not sun bright. It's not too dim to where, like right now, in broad daylight with some shadows and different contrasting colors, you can still see it just fine. But what we were doing before is aiming it at something white, and over there, it does wash out a little bit. And it's almost to the point where you can't see it. It's right there. So, again, maybe not great for like multiple environments, probably a good competition dot, inside, outside, stuff like that. It kind of seems like there's a trend here. But though I will say about the reticle itself, it is extremely crisp. It's very circular. Yeah. It is like, there's no bloom at all. And maybe that's because of the brightness, but there is no bloom. This is a perfect circle. So as far as if you want like a really crisp reticle, this thing kills it in that regard.
Yeah.
I think that's all the thoughts about the actual red dot itself. Good value, seems pretty tough. I wouldn't necessarily do a drop test on this because it probably won't make it, but as far as out of a holster and stuff, you'll be fine. Yeah. Let's go ahead. We're gonna zero the optic real quick. I haven't really shot this at all. We're gonna zero real fast, kind of test out the turrets, and then we'll do a couple of transitions and a couple of drills to kind of see how the dot aids in our ability to shoot effectively. So let's go ahead and get it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and zero the Cyelee Chameleon real quick. We just got a simple target right here. It's gonna be a really rough, kind of dirty zero. We really just want to see how the turrets do inside the optic when we go to adjust them. So some people get really torn up about them not being like super clicky and tactile. So shout out to Superior Precision for the M&P 2.0 base plates. These are incredible, and I love that company. They're very nice to me, and I appreciate them a lot. Here we go. Aim for the alpha head box. We're going to adjust these up. Remember, it's 1 MOA click, 1 MOA per click. So, I don't know if y'all can hear that. It sounds pretty audible.
Yeah, I can hear it, and I got ear-pro on. We all got ear-pro. The wind's blowing pretty good through the headset. So.
Yeah, the clicks are audible. It's not super like, it doesn't feel like it's setting into place where it's like boom, 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 like very obvious on each click. It's a little bit mushy, but you can hear it. So at least audible, if you're counting it, then you're
tactile,
fine.
Would you say?
Yeah, audible but not tactile. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, you can feel it in your hand, but just not like like an acro where it literally is like ka-chunks, like boom, boom, you know. So maybe a little mushy, whatever. It is what it is. So I just went up like 3. Let's try it again. Okay, I think I didn't do anything. Let's go up a few more.
Try tapping on it. I've noticed a lot of optics.
Like set?
Yeah, it has to like set in place, and that shaking kind of puts it where it needs to go. We might be going the wrong way.
I'm going the wrong way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
Rank
10.
it.
Here's 10.
Look, see how that first one was lower and the next one came back up? So now we're going the right way. I think it needed that.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do 10 again.
Place. There you go. There you go.
Yeah, we're getting there. My ear pro was not in all the way. That hurt. There we go. Okay, we're going to go 5 more. Let's do 4. I'm going to aim dead center alpha on the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, good to go. Let's confirm on these real quick. Okay, let's do the dueling tree. Ready?
Yep.
I'll show you how I can clear it. Yeah, it's on. So, zeroing the optic, easy enough. I would say I wish it was a little bit more tactile as far as like obviously clicking into each adjustment, but it's easy enough. And the adjustment screw has a pretty wide opening, so you probably could use a brass casing for that.
Yeah, it looks like it actually kind of looks like it's rounded out, almost like it's made.
Like it's made for it, or like a you know, a screwdriver. Obviously, I'm using the Holosun tool. That's one reason I don't like Holosun. I love Holosun, but one thing I don't like about Holosun is you have to use their special proprietary tool. I think that's kind of crazy, but this is really easy to adjust. So as far as adjustment goes, sick. Good job, Cyelee. Yeah, that's kind of a defensive drill, and then we'll do like a competition style drill. You want to use this?
Use that. I'll shoot this. Then we'll swap.
Okay.
Ready? Shooter ready. Stand by. Ready.
My M&P is ported, so it shoots really flat already, but I will say the window is so huge that my dot never left the optic at all. It was right there the entire time.
I have my dot set so that at nighttime I can still use it. I work a lot at night, and so that was too dim for me. I could pick it up initially, but once I started really recoiling, I was losing my dot a lot and had to just really depend on
Like point of reference aiming.
So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up my dot brightness quite a bit.
Mine is all the way up, and I will say, I wish it was brighter.
Switch out.
I do wish. Oh, that's right. We share platforms.
We share platforms for a reason around here.
Yeah.
All right.
Interesting. Oh, your grip is so skinny.
You're just so cute.
Okay.
All right, ready? Shooter ready. Stand by. Ready. Oh no.
I'm out of everything.
Drop the gun. Yeah. So earlier my dot was a little bit too dim, but you're absolutely right. You can completely track that dot inside the window the entire time. I mean, probably helps a little bit that it's ported, just well-balanced gun, but the optic is so big that any kind of shooting and moving around, I mean, walking and shooting is honestly going to take a lot out of your steadiness anyways, and that moves in the recoil. I really do like the round size.
Which
the whole
that,
window, all of it.
if you're, what you do mainly in competition is move and shoot.
Yeah.
So if you're moving and shooting, you have a massive windowed optic. No matter how that wrong step you take or you go off balance, you're still going to have tracking of your red dot and not have to worry about getting your balance and also finding your dot and then, you know, executing your shot. So quick pause. We're going to reload magazines. Be right back. All right, guys. So now we're going to take the Cyelee Chameleon and we're going to do a run on the dueling tree. Not really going to be dueling each other with it, but we're just going to run it on our own, kind of see how we feel, how the transition speed goes, how big the window affects, you know, your target. These are pink targets and it's a red dot and it's not that bright, so maybe that'll be an issue. So we'll kind of find out. Mr. Guy is going to go first.
Let's go. You want to do it at the same time?
No, it's all right.
Whoop! You really stick him in. Stick him in.
See, I'm telling you, it's him.
A mag failure. Dude, my mag's over here.
Oh, wow, that is a oh my gosh.
Show the camera, show the camera.
Yeah.
Pour it out.
What is that? Is that a...
Either the spring broke or the follower got caught on some dirt.
What brand is that follower?
This is actually it's an OEM follower on a Arredondo spring and base plate.
Interesting.
Thanks, dude.
Hit it one more time. Don't blow all your ammo. Don't blow your entire load.
All right, that was it.
What do you think?
Okay, so I do wish the dot was brighter. Luckily, our target today is in the shade, so it is really not that big of a deal.
If those were white in the sun,
if it was in the sun, it would be a little bit harder. You could definitely tell. This is like literally just barely to the point where I would be okay with it. We do have another optic we can compare this to.
We got a bunch.
Oh, another budget one as well. Was it a CNH that's on the Glock?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
So that'll be something that two budget red dots that are kind of similar, more SRO physique.
Yeah.
Silhouette.
They're clones. They're
Yeah.
kind of SR clones.
But other than that, it's just really easy to shoot with. I mean, the glass clarity, the dot clarity, it makes it really easy shooting.
I wouldn't even say it's the dot itself. It's just the design of this type of dot. Big circle housing red dot.
Well, I also like the dot.
Well, yeah.
I like the actual dot that's being projected. I've never really been a fan of bigger dots, but it is cool that this is like literally a circle. Like,
Yeah, it's
normally
circle.
you see like a dot and then it always, you know, stars out. But this is like literally just a projected circle almost.
Even though the acro is brighter, I can't tell what shape that is. It just looks like there's a red dot in the window,
Yeah,
but
like
not a red
a
circle.
small point, like a point of light.
Yeah,
You know? It's
yeah.
not really like this is like someone almost drew a circle in there and colored it in red.
And colored it in.
Yeah.
Did a little exam, a little color the dot in or whatever.
Yeah.
Bad joke, sorry. Anyway, so
I know what you're talking about. Hold on. He's talking about a Scantron.
Scantron. I was
There you
homeschooled,
go.
by the way.
I was like, wait, I remember this. This
Yeah.
is a Scantron
You
moment.
got a little dread hanging off your head there.
Dread check. Shake them dreads. Shake them
Wave
dreads.
check,
Wave
Wave
check.
check. We're gonna have some crazy waves after this.
Let me run it on the dueling tree. Is she hot?
It is hot.
Okay.
Hot, primed, ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I concur. I agree with Guy. It's fine. It's a large window. The dot is crisp. It looks great. I just wish it was brighter.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Doesn't need to be insanely bright, but just a little bit brighter would be very very welcome for sure.
Yeah. Talk about mounting height. It's not super high, but there's kind of lower stuff. It's pretty average. You probably have more red dots.
I have a ton of red dots. I will say the SRO is kind of high. The Leopold Delta Point Pro is a high optic. That sucker is freaking like skyscraper. This one kind of cuts the difference. I would say completely average height. There's a little bit of a gap between the red dot and the slide, probably about a 1/4 inch. So plenty of room to go down if you have a really deep optics cut gun or something like that. It's low enough that with these suppressor high sights that come on the M&P 2.0, most of the new models I think have these suppressor tall ones. It co-witnesses lower 1/3, so good to go. Now we're going to do some horizontal transitions. We've done some, you know, under pressure type drills where we ran back and tried to group on paper. We've done, you know, vertical transitions as far as going up and down on the dueling tree. Now we're going to try and do some side to side horizontal. So basically like 2 on steel, 2 on steel, 2 on steel, 2 on steel. I saw a drill that a guy named Crespo did. We can do it right now. He put a stick on the ground like this. Crespo's an insanely good shooter. He's very good. Whenever you transition, he took a step.
Cool.
I think.
Okay.
This may be kind of dumb and stupid, but
You ready? Set. Up. That's fucking beautiful.
all right, ready?
Right.
So now I'm just going to do some transitions from left to right first, then we'll do the little stick drill.
On the color threat.
Yep.
Threat. Stand by. Threat. Stand by. Threat.
That was fast. That felt good. I am losing the dot. It's not quite bright enough. I think I'm losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the little step over.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Threat.
That's not what the drill is, but
You did have a mic. You did have a miss, I believe.
yeah, I set it over the top on the right one, or left one.
Okay. Dude, the amount of concussion when I shot from down here,
Yeah.
just blasting me in the face.
Did you get it on camera?
Ready?
Are you recording? Oh, you did get it on camera. All right, shooter ready? Threat. Nice grouping. That was solid. Shooter ready? Threat. Nice, dude. Those are dead hostage takers right there.
I'm gonna keep it from here. I'm gonna be really clamping down this gun.
Okay, shooter ready.
Yep.
Stand by. Threat. Nice.
I mean, it's easy to shoot with this gun and this optic set up together. Even though it's not super bright, the size of it and the window gets the job done.
And here's the thing too. We'll just go ahead and jump into final conclusions. Again, guys, it's a $150 to $200 red dot. You can find them used on TACSWAP. Can't say it in its full name because YouTube's gay. YouTube. And you can find them for $100. So for $100, if you shoot indoor range matches at your local LGS, you know, whatever, it's honestly kind of hard to beat. Like,
especially if you're getting into it, or
yeah,
maybe it's an optic that you buy that when you get a new gun, it's
a placeholder. Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, even though the name kind of sounds a little funny and it's a brand that's not super recognizable, a lot of their red dots, especially their enclosed red dots, are really tough. The Cat Pro, I think it's called. They name after all animals. I don't know why. The Cat Pro is like insanely tough. RMR tough in a lot of instances, which is crazy to say. It's kind of a wild statement, but it's true. So their optics are strong and they're durable and they're completely adequate. This red dot, I would say, is like, it's not going to blow your socks off. For the money, it's a good deal and it's completely adequate.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
And it's not fun.
Yeah, it's fun, and it, you know, kind of looks cool. And I don't know. I think that I think Cyelee kind of knocked it out of the park, except for the brightness. It's my only critique. Just up the brightness, and there might be a reason they didn't do that. Who knows? But just up the brightness. So Cyelee did give me a discount code for you guys. I don't believe it's an affiliate code. I think it's just straight up just a discount code. It's 10% off. It's BenHSC10. So Ben BenHSC10. We'll get you guys 10% off on this red dot from Cyelee on Amazon. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. Thanks to my buddy here for joining me on this video. Overall, good job, Cyelee. Appreciate the help. Thanks for sending the optic. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
He's Ben, I'm Dover.